Hello and welcome to the Rope Break podcast with me, Kev, and
I'm Dan.
Obviously it's WrestleMania week, so we need to just get the ball rolling on it, really, because there's not much more to say. It's like, I don't know about you, but it's just the most sort of anticipated WrestleMania I've had in years.
Yeah,
Like the one I've been looking forward to the most out of, a couple of years at least.
I mean, to be honest, I'd say at least 10 for
Yeah.
me. At least 10 years for me. I can't remember in the last 10 years being this excited for a WrestleMania. Something just like, even if you take out, how amazing the whole card looks, not even just WrestleMania, but the card for Stand and Deliver looks unbelievable as well. I think, the three pay-per-views in effect that they're putting on in a whole, well, you can probably have four in there because Raw After Mania is basically a pay-per-view because it's always insane. So you've kind of got four massive shows in the space of 3 days, but it feels like something big's going to go down. Do you know what I mean? Like there's this feeling of, I don't know what it is, but it feels like something massive is going to happen.
Yeah.
I haven't had that feeling before a WrestleMania in years. Because name me a WrestleMania in the last decade that hasn't been even a little bit kind of disappointing. After you've watched it, you're always a little bit like, that could have been better.
Yeah.
Because if you think of WrestleMania when we were kids, every year they were incredible. Every year WrestleMania was unbelievable. And then something's happened in the last 10 years where WrestleMania, in my opinion, has been one of the weaker pay-per-views of the entire year. There's been, probably 2 or 3 pay-per-views that year that are bigger and better than Mania, and it shouldn't be that way because I always laugh whenever you hear someone say, it's WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, the biggest night in wrestling. It's like, it hasn't been that for a long time.
Yeah.
For me, SummerSlam and Royal Rumble are always bigger pay-per-views than Mania over recent memory until this year. And then all of a sudden this year, you're like, WrestleMania feels like WrestleMania again.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty big last year, but I think this year they've upped their game. It's even bigger. I mean, WrestleMania last year was good, but I just haven't been this excited for a WrestleMania for years. Even though last year and the years before were okay, that's what I mean. They were just okay. This one, I'm like, you know what I mean? At this point, it could go anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at like Roman Reigns and The Rock. Cody Rhodes. There's lots of speculation that Roman's now going to beat Cody, and then go on to face The Rock. Or you know what I mean? Something's going to happen. We've had speculation of maybe someone from AEW coming over. It's just absolute madness. It's like, and it keeps getting better and bigger.
Yeah.
Like certain things. I also want to pick up actually on what we said on the previous podcast, which we were talking about the ladder match, and I said it's going to be Awesome Truth and DIY, and they're going to split the belts up. They're going to get one each, sort of thing. R-Truth will pull them both down and just give DIY the other one. But on Monday night, Michael Cole said that both belts will be on the line, which they've never said before, because normally they've called them the undisputed belts. And then they said, so the first team will pull down one of the belts, and the match will continue until both belts are pulled down. And I was like, they're splitting them up.
Yeah, which we've known for months anyway that they're going to split them. And
yeah,
just imagine if they throw a massive curveball there and the Judgment Day just retain both belts. Imagine.
Yeah.
I think in terms of the whole, when you were saying that WrestleMania, felt big last year, I think that was only really because of like Seth Roman main event though. Like, do you know what I mean? Like that main event felt massive. It felt really big. But over the course of both nights, I just, again, there was a lot that kind of was a bit meh. There's the lit that was, do you know what I mean? You know, whereas if you look at the card this year, it's like, do you know what's kind of snuck up on me recently? A match that I'm really excited about, that probably a lot of people aren't necessarily excited about, is Rhea versus Becky Lynch. Oh, yeah. I don't know why. Like this last week, it's like that match has crept up on me. And yesterday, I seen on Twitter the moving what do they call them? What do they call them? Where they setting up the fight. So it's like Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, when it shows them both, but they're both moving and
yeah.
I don't remember what they call it. But yeah. I seen that and I was like, I'm really excited for that match. And to be honest, like 3 weeks ago, I thought, like Rhea Becky, you know, we've seen it before. It's kind of like, it was a little one of the matches where it was like, well, I can't really see anyone beating Rhea at the minute, to be honest. So you know, is it going to be another big L for Becky? Also, I think, you know, a lot of us are big Becky Lynch fans. I know there's some people who aren't keen on her, but most people I know do like her. If they do take the belt off Rhea and give it to Becky, there's going to be a lot of people, even Becky Lynch fans, are going to be like, nah, I don't agree with that. So I was a little bit like, oh, that match is kind of like, you know, weren't really bothered about it. And then this last week, it has snuck up on me, and I'm really excited now for that match. I think it's going to be insane, to be honest. I think it's going to be mad.
Yeah, especially when they've started to get a little bit personal, and she's been mentioning Becky's daughter, and then they had the running. I did find that the sort of build up to that has been slow.
Yeah,
I don't know whether it's just because we've had like the tag team title match. We've had quite a bit of build up to that. We've had build up with obviously Sammy and Gunther, and we've had build up to obviously the two main events as well. But that one just seemed to be a slow burner. It just didn't seem, the build took slow, if you know what I mean. It's only the last couple of weeks where it sort of really intensified. But I just found with that match that it was a slow burner. Like they could have done a lot of this sort of stuff earlier on. But yeah, I personally, I can see Rhea retaining.
I agree.
Because I don't think I still think Nia Jax is personally, in my own opinion, I think Nia Jax is the one that's going to take the belt from her. Just because of how dominant they've been pushing her, how well she's done in the ring since coming back, and she's had an on-off thing with Rhea. So I don't know. I just can see Rhea retaining, and then her dropping the belt to say Nia Jax. But at this point, anything can happen.
It's all, they're almost in the female version of the Roman Reigns, the Roman Reigns dilemma, where like I'm pretty confident that Cody's going to beat him this year. I'm pretty confident, but I was confident last year, and it didn't happen. Yeah. So, but no, I am. I think the higher ups within WWE, Triple H included, know that if Cody doesn't finish his story this year, there's going to be a lot of people pissed off. And they've already done it once last year. Like they've already done that once. I can't see them. You know,
there's a few things that obviously have come about. The Rock is filming a film straight after WrestleMania.
Yeah,
and so he's going off somewhere. So I don't know so he won't be back for a while, at least while he's filming this film. And then Roman Reigns said something really interesting. I think it was on one of the talk shows. He said that if he loses, that's it. He's gone. He's retired.
I can see it. I can see it.
So I don't know if they're going to drop him. See. At first I was like, oh yeah, Cody's winning. You know, this is the second time round. He's not gonna. You know what I mean? But then there were certain things creeping in, like The Rock going off, and because I thought, well, okay, if he's going to screw Roman, wouldn't they want a program in place?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he's going off, and they don't know when he's returning back, if he's returning back. And Roman also said, like I said on the talk show, he said, if I drop the belt, if I lose, that's it, I'm gone. I'm retiring. And then I was like, hang on, is he going to keep the belt? Is he going to retain?
No, I think he'll lose at Mania, and I think Roman will probably go into Hollywood. I think it's
the right time. You got to think the Bloodline started back during COVID,
so
it's been going a long time. I don't know. Like I said, it's really exciting because
it is.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so exciting is obviously that's the main event, that's the big one, is what's going on.
I think now what's going to happen is the Bloodline are going to win their tag match.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it's Bloodline rules, so anything goes, anything. So I reckon it's going to be McIntyre that costs them the match. He's gonna like the tag team match. I think he's going to interfere and cost the match. And then what's going to happen is you're probably going to get a load of run-ins. So Roman and that are going to have a fight. The Rock's probably going to come down solo. Both of the Usos, because they're going to have a match as well. I got a funny feeling Dustin's going to show up. Some other people maybe from this is what I mean. Like it's all going to be a big sort of it's going to be so many rundowns and people are going to lose their mind. That's what I think is going to happen. But this is what I mean. We're so excited for it because we don't know what the hell's going on. What the hell is happening? You know, it's like saying. Previous WrestleManias, we've been like, oh, well, that's happening. That's going to happen. But this one seems more like, I don't know. Like, even with the Sami Zayn and Gunther match, like, he lost the match to Bronson Reed. Like 2 Raws ago. So I was like, why are they letting him lose? And then he had that big build-up with Chad, who sort of gave him that motivational thing, and I'm thinking, is he going to actually take it?
Who knows? And this is what I'm saying. So many talking points. There's so many kind of things that can happen on so many different matches. Which is why both of us are saying I can't remember the last time a WrestleMania was this exciting. It's like if you look at the card for the Stand and Deliver first. You've got Kalani Jordan, Thea Hale, and Fallon Henley versus JC Jane, Kiana James, and Izzy Dame. You've got an NXT North American triple threat, Oba Femi versus Josh Briggs versus Dijak. I actually hope Dijak will win that, to be honest.
I think they're quite high up on Oba Femi. I think he's improved since come along, though he's not been there for very long. I think they're quite high up on him, so I can see him retaining. But Dijak's been there a while now. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they trouble to place him quite a bit. I've seen it lately. Yeah. He had a great match, by the way, with Joe Gacy.
Yeah,
and then they've sort of been playing around with him. They don't really know where to fit him in. I think he needs to have a proper program. Like I said, it might be good if he drops the belt to Dijak, and then they have a program with him and Oba Femi.
Yeah,
that would be quite good.
Similar height and and stuff. So we've also got Joe Gacy versus Sean Spears. We've got the tag team NXT tag team match, the Wolf Dogs versus Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. We have got Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT title, and obviously the main event will be Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. So that's an incredible card for NXT. And then on we'll go through these one by one, but as it stands at the minute, the card for WrestleMania Night 1 on the Saturday night is I'll try and do them in lower order to bigger order, but it's all jumbled up, so we'll see. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, I don't know why that was a bit of a weird one.
Random.
It's only just,
very random.
Yeah, it's completely random. Like, it's only just been announced within the last couple of weeks. And why did, like you're saying, I thought all the Dom thing and Mysterio was done. It's almost like they've gone, well, we'll throw this together.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. But I think what they wanted to do was father versus son, which they've done before. But then they had Jay versus Jimmy, and I'm thinking maybe they were like, oh, maybe we'll make this one a tag team. Because if you have a look at the order, I mean, there's a lot of tag team matches.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you know what? Like, I don't think that. I think it's a match that didn't need to be done. It's so random.
It's a kickoff match.
Both nights are already so stacked without that match. I think they wanted to have Rey Mysterio involved at WrestleMania in some capacity because they don't know how many WrestleManias he's got left in him.
Yeah.
But I also think the WWE and Triple H want to praise Dom and reward Dom for how hard he's worked this year, because he's not in a storyline with anyone. He's a part of the Judgment Day, but he's not like there was. Without that match, who's Dominic Mysterio? What's Dominic Mysterio been doing at Mania? He wouldn't have had anything. So I think, like, if you think about how many matches he's had over the last 12 months and how hard he's worked, I think it'd have been a disgrace, to be honest, if he wouldn't have been involved in Mania in some capacity. So I think that's a bit of a one of them where it's like, we've not got anything really exciting for him, but he does deserve a match at Mania because of how hard he's worked. I think, I believe over the last 12 months, he's had more matches than anyone else in WWE. No one else has had more matches.
And you also got to think as well, he was CM Punk's first opponent.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, so I do think, and I think how well he's done. I think he deserves a Mania. So they've just tried to throw something together. But
I'm surprised that they sort of teamed in with Santine. Obviously Santino, but I don't know why they chose Dragon Lee, because actually Carlito has had more of a run-in with Escobar than anybody else, because they had a big program thing where he was screwed out of a match. There was and then they went, oh, it's Dragon Lee, and I'm like, hang on, there's Carlito standing right there. He's had a feud with him. Why did you choose Carlito?
I think they probably regret re-signing Carlito. I think Carlito probably regrets re-signing. He's not been used at all. I think what they've probably done is with Rey. Obviously, Rey's still great. We think, but we haven't seen him since he's come back from his injury. But he'll still be fantastic. He always is. But he's still, in his 50s. He's still in his early 50s.
Yeah.
Carlito's had a lot of injuries. He's quite heavy. He's in his 40s now. He's not as fast as he used to be. I think if you'd have had Rey and Carlito versus Santos and Dom, who were both young, fast, athletic, it would have been a bit of a mismatch. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, as good as Rey Mysterio is in it, and he's a legend, it's basically two guys in the prime versus two old guys. Do you know what kind of thing? So I think that's why they've put Dragon Lee in there. So you've got someone who, because some of them, they obviously want to do a lot of lucha style wrestling in that match, because all four of them are a lucha style wrestler. So I think, like, all the high spots and stuff that they want to do, that to be fair to Dragon Lee, he's amazing at that. Him and Ricochet are probably
that whole segment, that that whole segment was a bit weird on SmackDown as well, because
It was weird.
Because they brought him out like it was his first time there.
Yeah, I know.
Because you had all the LWO there, and he went Dragon Lee, and it sort of panned round like it was the first time he had come out. And secondly, they did a promo backstage where they said he was official member of the LWO, and I'm thinking
they've already done that.
I thought he already was.
He already was. Yeah, I know.
What's that about?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It was just a weird segment. It was the whole weird, like it's Dragon Lee, and everyone's like, cheers. It's like, hang on, I thought he was part of this group anyway.
Yeah.
And then they did a thing backstage where they gave him a T-shirt, and he said he's part of the LWO, and I was like, I'm sure he was there originally.
I think Carlito's probably going to turn during that match and probably cost Ray and Dragon Lee the match. That's what I can see happening. The next match is it's another one that's been very much thrown together. I am a little bit excited for it though. 3 members of Damage Control: Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane versus Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Jade Cargill. I mean, the first point I've got to make is we've seen Jade Cargill's entrance for the first time on SmackDown last week. Wow.
Yeah, it was a mixture between what she had in AEW.
Mate, that entrance is amazing. It's incredible. It was just pure cinema. I couldn't take my eyes off the TV. I thought, what an incredible entrance that is. Absolutely fantastic. Something's going to happen in that match. One of them three is going to turn heel. Probably will be Jade Cargill, but I wouldn't be surprised that it could be Naomi or Bianca, because if you think that obviously Bianca's married to Montez Ford, I do think they are trying to turn them heel. It's not working very well.
But
I do think they are trying to turn them heel.
Yeah.
And I think obviously Naomi's married to Jimmy, who's a very, very big heel at the minute. Probably the ultimate heel at the minute, because Jey Uso is so abnormally over. It is unbelievable. So Jimmy's the proper pantomime villain at the minute. I also feel really sorry for Naomi, because I was so excited in the Rumble when the music hit and she came back, and they've done nothing with it. And they've also, and look, this is probably her choice, because we do know that she's like this anyway. Why have they changed the music? Like, I don't like it. And the thing is, if it's not broke, don't fix it. The music that she came back to, the music that they hit at the Royal Rumble when she came out, which was her old WWE music, it was amazing. You didn't need to change it. There was nothing that, like, you know, and they've changed the music. So like, but like the first time a music hits, people go, "Who's this?" And they go, "Oh, it's Naomi." Like, so people now aren't reacting to her because they don't know who it is when the music hits. And then people go, "Oh, it's Naomi." Oh, they changed the music. Oh, well, I like to old music, but do you know what I mean? Like, that's all a bit. I'm not keen on that. But look, that's probably her choice. She's probably decided that she wants to change the music up. But they also haven't done anything with her. Literally nothing with her. And she's so talented.
Hang on, I've got a message. I can see Jardel turning heel.
Yeah. I think Jardel will turn heel.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're limited on SmackDown with what they can do, because like with the time constraints. So I think, like you're saying, we haven't seen Carlito much. We haven't seen Naomi much. That is because I think they're sort of tight on time on SmackDown. You know, we always complained that Raw's too long. Well, actually, we kind of go, well, actually, SmackDown's too short. Yeah. It needs to be a little bit longer. But I can see someone.
Do you know what though? Like, what I have got to say is, CM Punk kind of mentioned it in his promo. That whole, what did he say? Something along the lines of, it was about the Netflix deal, basically saying that I need to be careful what I say at the minute, because the Netflix deal hasn't changed over yet. Basically hinting at the fact that when it goes over to Netflix, it'll be a completely different set of rules, because they'll probably be able to get away with saying a hell of a lot more.
Well, I think SmackDown is still on normal TV, and so is NXT.
No, Raw and SmackDown are going to NXT to Netflix.
Over here, but over in the States, they're on normal TV still.
Oh, I thought
in the UK. I think it's Raw that's going to SmackDown, Raw that's going to Netflix, and then you've got SmackDown and NXT, because NXT is going to CW.
Yeah,
the CW network in the States. So I think there may be a slight change. They might want to up it a little bit. There's new channels. You might be right, because there's not a limitation on certain things.
Yeah, I think.
So yeah, you might be right. Yeah.
What I read is that they have the deal that they signed for SmackDown is only a temporary deal, because the SmackDown deal ended before the Raw deal. They haven't announced what they're doing with NXT yet. But what I read is that when the deal comes in for Netflix, it'll be both Raw and SmackDown on Netflix. That's the deal that has been signed, apparently. Now, if that's true, I think there'll be more that they'll be allowed to say, because Netflix, if you've seen some of the Netflix original films, they don't really shy away from bad language and gruesome stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can basically do what you want. If it's entertaining, it's entertaining. I think, but what you were saying before about Raw being too long and SmackDown being too short and what did blah blah blah, Netflix solves all that, because on Netflix like Netflix don't really do live programming. Do you know what I mean? It's a streaming platform that they're obviously going to be streaming live Raw and SmackDown on, but
yeah,
I think that they'll just put a disclaimer at the start saying bad language and blah, 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 blah. But I think what will be really interesting is, what I do think that where Netflix will be really good is they won't have that time restraint. So like if the story that they want to tell on that episode of SmackDown lasts 2 hours, 20 minutes, they can do it.
They can do it, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's a bit of a quiet night on Raw, they're not going to have to try and fill out 3 hours worth. They might only do 2.5 hours one week. They might do 3.5 hours a different week. Do you know what I mean? I think that each show will just be, they'll obviously try and stay within those parameters. They won't, what go an hour over. But the point I'm making is it won't be as strict as what it has been for the last.
Yeah. There's two here. Scott Building with the Boys. SmackDown has only 10 weeks left, no confirmed network. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. And obviously with Jade Cargill, she's being built up as a serious threat. So Hill seems to match on. Now, you say that, Scott, but she had altercations with Io Sky. If you remember, she bumped into her a few times backstage, and one of the altercations, she went, maybe it should be with a real champion sort of thing. I don't know if I want her to have the title just yet. I think she needs that build before they sort of whack a title on her.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't want her turning into what, you know what I mean? I don't want to watch Jade Cargill and go, well, she's just doing what she did on AEW. She's just having the same old run. She's going to be dominant, but I don't want her to be over dominant, if you know what I mean. It's a weird thing.
We're in this boat at the minute with Rhea. Who beats her?
Like I said, I personally think it's Nia Jax, just because they've had a program. Yeah, she's been a very dominant coming back, and she's improved massively.
And Nia looks like someone capable of beating Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take Nia and Jade Cargill out of the equations, who looks like it's like, it's the whole Undertaker thing all over again. It's why Undertaker never had loads of title reigns, because Vince always went, you're fucking 7 foot tall, you're intimidating as fuck. Like, realistically, who beats him?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
they've had this problem before, and I hope they don't get down it. Obviously, we've had Roman Reigns, but they had the same problem with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
they whacked the title on him, and then they went, "What now?" And he just bulldozed everyone, and it's a bit like, well, no one can beat him. At least with Roman Reigns, you kind of feel like someone can actually beat him.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. but yeah, it's interesting that because what we're going to get, I think, obviously after the Raw after Mania is where they change everything normally, and you normally get some
Raw after Mania is going to be mad. Yeah,
it's mad, and you sometimes get a little bit of change. It depends on who they want to push, I suppose, for the year coming.
Well, the next match, just because we're in time, I'm trying to run through them. 6-pack ladder match. At the minute, it's a 6-pack ladder match, but let's just see how many teams are actually in it. Because there's
been talk of them adding someone or taking a team out and then replacing it. Yeah. I still personally, I think Awesome Truth are going to win. Truth is going to pull both belts down and then hand the other belt over to DIY.
Yeah. I can see that.
Like he's going to pull it down and go, you know what R-Truth's like? He's going to just go, well, you have this. You know what I mean? It's just a comical thing that he's going to do. It does mean them going, obviously, to Raw and SmackDown. But like I said, at the time, we weren't too sure what was going on. And I obviously mentioned last week that they're going to split the titles up. That would be a good way of doing it. Yeah. And Michael Cole this week said both Raw and SmackDown titles, which was also strange because they've always been referred to as the undisputed tag team titles. But he said the Raw and SmackDown titles will be there. He goes, the first team to pull the first belt down, the match will continue until both belts have been retrieved. So that sort of says to me that they're splitting them up.
I agree. Yeah. Well, I think we've all. Splitting them up. So.
Yeah, it's almost like they've thrown like the New Day. Like they've gone, just put the New Day in there because they're always quite good with their ladder matches and aerobatics and. You know what I mean? I would want Awesome Truth to win, to be completely fair, just because of the way that they've pushed R-Truth.
Yeah.
And then they've sort of dominated him slightly, and they've sort of beat the crap out of him quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it would just be I think if that happened, people would go nuts because R-Truth is so over with everyone. Yeah. It's just, you know what I mean? It would just work.
I agree. Uso versus Uso, Jay versus Jimmy.
Yeah, that's a real tough one.
I'd be very surprised if Jay doesn't win that match. He's so over. He's so over. I'd be very, very surprised if he doesn't win that match. I think it's going to be insane. That match. I think it's going to be incredible.
I would like it to be a little bit like do you remember the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels match?
Yeah.
When he's sort of staggering and Shawn Michaels goes, "I'm sorry.
I love you."
Yeah, and then kicks him and pins him. I would love that sort of thing to happen, or for them to hug it out at the end. That would be brilliant. And it's so much. I would like Rikishi to somehow either be there or you know what I mean.
Get involved in that. Yeah, I agree. He could get involved in that. I think Solo's getting involved in that as well.
Solo is. I don't know. I kind of feel like is he the one who's going to turn on Roman?
Do you know what I think is going to happen? Have you seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Where they all turn on Jon Snow and they all stab him.
Yeah.
That's what's happening to Roman Reigns. Rock's going to give him one. Solo's going to give him one. Heyman's going to come in and give him a little slap. You know, I think they're all going to turn on him. I think every single one of them will turn on him. He'll be left in the middle of the ring on his own. Yeah,
I did. I've said this many times because obviously Paul Heyman is that.
He's a weasel.
There's a clip. There was a clip on Raw where they were doing a backstage segment, and he was talking to McIntyre in the back.
Yeah,
and if you've watched wrestling over the years, and you know Paul Heyman, he has screwed every single person he's ever had as a client. Yeah. He's ended up screwing in some capacity. Yeah. So I reckon he could do it.
I think something's going to happen after later on this evening after SmackDown tonight, the Hall of Fame, because obviously Roman's inducting Paul Heyman.
Yes,
so I think something could happen there. Intercontinental Championship match: Gunther versus Sami.
I personally wanted Chad to win that because I think it would have meant more. Yeah, it would have been more for him. Yeah. I think they need to start pushing Gunther a bit more now. the problem is they've got the Intercontinental title off him, so they need to sort of change that now. I could see him dropping it to Sammy.
Yeah, I can see him dropping it to Sammy as well.
Yeah, I'd like Sammy to. I mean, I've always liked Sami Zayn, even when people didn't. He's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. But yeah, I would like him to be at the Continental Champion again. That would be good.
Yeah, I'd like it as well. If I had to say, I would say that I think that's what they're going to do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they kept the belt on Gunther even longer. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. And I said to you weeks ago, the only match that I look at and I go, yeah, I'm pretty confident that that's a retain, is Rhea versus Becky. Now, look, I might be wrong. I just think if Becky wins that match, people are going to go, well, what's Rhea been building for the last year where she's been dominating? She's already beaten Becky.
Well, we said last week, didn't we? We said last time, this is the first Mania where we could see every belt change hands, and I'm like, I don't know if they really want to go ahead and do that.
No, there will be some that retain, and
I've got the two women belts,
like especially the SmackDown women's. I'd be stunned if Io keeps that belt. I think Bayley's definitely winning that belt. Io's done nothing with it.
Yeah, I could personally, I could see Rhea retaining and Io just because. They're sort of pushing Damage Control a little bit, makes them a little bit more relevant. Also, as well, like they've had that interaction, Io and Jade. But like you said, they really haven't used Io. I don't know whether it's just they just don't know what to do with her.
No,
or what?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I tell you what could happen. I think here's a scenario. Jade at some point over the next few months will be either Bayley or Io for the SmackDown Women's Champion. I think it'll be within the next 2 or 3 months, and that because I think that at Survivor Series this year they're going to bring back it's every champion versus champion. So Raw champion versus SmackDown champion, Rhea versus Jade, champion versus champion would be incredible.
Yeah, we've got. They're gonna. I would imagine that they would save some things for Backlash. They're going to have to save something for Backlash, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so they can keep going. Scott's put, he's got tickets for Birmingham the week after Mania, because obviously they do the tour after Mania. Sammy versus Gunther is on the card, so it looks like it won't be resolved at Mania. That's
interesting.
That is also subject to change as well.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Very.
I mean, I always expect it to be a triple threat.
That makes me feel Gunther is retaining.
Yeah, I mean, they could. I always wanted it to be a triple threat because that's the best way you keep Gunther strong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't have him lose.
You have Chad pin Sammy.
Yeah, you pin. Chad or Sammy, they pin each other, and Gunther still looks strong but loses the title. But yeah.
Rhea versus Becky.
Yeah, we've mentioned many times. I think Rhea's retaining, but
I think retaining. Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
That was a nice quick one. Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth.
Oh, I still think Bloodline are going to win that. I think McIntyre is going to cost them the match because he'll come out. Play more roles, and then someone will pin him up, and that'll be it.
I think Seth will turn on Cody in that match, and I think Seth will walk out on him, leaving Cody on his own. And I think someone will come down to help Cody. But I do think Bloodline will still win that match. I think what my prediction for that is Seth turns on him, walks out, leaves him on his own. Rock and Roman beat him and pin him 1, 2, 3, match is over. And then I think Rock, Roman, Solo all jumping off, start beating on him. And I think Cena and Austin will both come out and save Cody.
Yeah.
After the match is finished, because I do think Bloodline will win. But I think Cena and Austin will both come out and help Cody, and then we'll get to the other match in due course. Sunday is Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits versus the Final Testament.
Yeah, once again, that just like with the Rey Mysterio one, which we spoke to about a minute ago, I can see that being a kickoff show one.
Yeah, but to be fair, this has been brewing for a while though. Do you know what I mean? Like the Dome one was completely thrown together. They've been going back and forth and beating each other up for months now.
Yeah, and why did they? And also as well, the only thing I think is like a kickoff show is like, why did they put it together last minute? It was only mentioned last week, so it was literally put together. Like you said, there have been backwards and forwards. Maybe they were going to do a program for Backlash. Maybe they pulled it forward for some reason. I don't know, but it just seems.
I don't know. I just think they've announced it late, but I do think that's been on the cards. I mean, I was chatting to you over a month ago, and I said that this is going to lead to a Mania match. So I think it's been on the card for a while. I think for whatever reason they've just announced that it was happening.
Random.
Again, there's so much, you know.
Yeah, Scott's put he can't see Gunther losing twice unless it's DQ or obviously Imperium get involved.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Any word on the Andre Battle Royale? I haven't heard anything. Yeah, it's on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've started putting it on SmackDown. They used to do it as like the preview or the kickoff, but now they've moved it. Last couple of years, it's been on SmackDown.
I think it's better on Mania because I think it's a good way. It's a good way to kick off Mania. Everyone that's not going to be a part of Mania, and I would do it to start the Sunday, not the Saturday, because it's kind of like it in between. Because you're not having all the talent that aren't being used really.
Yeah.
You're not. It is a shame. You're not having all of the talent being used. The very first match on the Saturday, and it's right, fuck off, not to be seen again for the rest of the weekend.
I think it was a way when they first introduced it. I think it was a way as well for getting people that weren't on the Mania card a match at Mania. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm also surprised actually that they haven't done a women's version.
Yeah, but again, they should do a men's version, a women's version, one on the Saturday, one on the Sunday.
I just don't know why they haven't done a women's version.
Everyone involved, it gets every talent involved on Mania, and I think it's a nice start to start the show because look, we all love. It's like a mini Royal Rumble. We all love the Royal Rumble. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we do. And obviously to save time, I would probably have, say you've got 30 people in there, 30 talent that aren't being used for the rest of the Mania. You could throw 20 that start off straight away, but then you could have 10 that come down you wouldn't do like a 3-minute gap. You could just do a 60-second gap, but just so that you've got surprise entrance into it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we've always liked the. We've talked about it recently. Actually, we miss having Money in the Bank at. Sorry, that's the doorbell going. But we all miss having the Money in the Bank at Mania. We said it recently, didn't we? Actually,
yeah.
That why don't they just put it back at Mania again? I don't know.
Because they want it to be a pay-per-view, standalone pay-per-view on its own, which, to be fair, I do get it. Because it's a big enough moment where, like, the winner of the Royal Rumble goes into Main Event Mania. The winner of Money in the Bank can cash in any time to win the title of choosing. Yeah. It's a big enough reward where it does deserve to be the main event of its own pay-per-view. So it's not often, but I do actually agree with them having that as its own show.
Yeah, it's Yeah, I think having two as well. You'd have the women's as well. It'd be but what's the other ones?
LA Knight, AJ Styles.
LA Knight for me. I've always been big on LA Knight as soon as he came in. I just think he's so over. I like the direction that they're doing with AJ as well. Though he's been a heel before, he's very good at a heel. But yeah. I mean, he's like LA Knight so over.
I think LA Knight wins that match, but I've got to say I do feel sorry for AJ Styles because he does deserve a lot more. Like, he's the most complete wrestler on the planet. There's nothing he can't do. He should be having big matches at Mania and winning them. He's that good. I don't really get. I know he's age maybe, but he's still one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
Yeah,
I don't get this kind of mid-card kind of entry with him. I do feel sorry for him. I think he deserves more at Mania.
He is exactly what he claims, and that is he is phenomenal.
There he is.
But yeah, it's just we'll have to see, how that pans out. But I think it's LA Knight for that one. For me, that's LA Knight.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I could see. Is it a no holds barred match? I can see it being like falls counts.
I think it will be. I think it'll have a stipulation. United States Championship triple threat: Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens.
I want Kevin Owens to win, but I've got a funny feeling Logan's gonna win that. I've got a funny feeling they're gonna have interferences from KSI and God knows who else. Even Jake Paul.
Jake,
not Jack. Jake, sorry. Even him helping.
Yeah.
It would boost. Not only that, he's got a match with Mike Tyson coming up, so that could roll into that if he helps his brother retain. I don't know.
I
can see him winning.
I want anyone to win that match apart from Logan Paul. Anyone but Logan, like anyone, like bring Hornswoggle back, make it a fatal four-way. Have Hornswoggle win the belt. I don't give a shit. Just anyone but Logan Paul.
Yeah,
which means he's doing good at his job. He's a heel, and
you're
supposed to hate heels. And guess what? I fucking hate him. So he's doing really well at his job.
Hey, do you know what? He's impressed. Last time he was there, he really impressed everyone.
He's amazing in the ring.
He's good. He's
immensely talented. Apparently now he's re-signed a contract, which means it's now a full-time contract, which means he's going to be there most weeks.
Yep.
Look, he's a good wrestler. His promos suck, but he's not got much experience, cutting live promos.
Yeah.
He's grown on me as a person because 5 or 6 years ago I thought he was an absolute bellend, and I think he'd admit himself that he was a bellend. Unfortunately, his younger brother hasn't took a leaf out of his older brother's book and actually grown up a bit. But I do think Logan more recently, if I watch quite a lot of his podcasts, and he always comes across really, really well on his podcast. So look. Best luck to him. Me personally, I hope Orton or Owens wins it.
I don't
know, but
I want Kevin Owens to win it. But I can see him retaining, personally.
Well, I think this, right. I think if Sammy wins the belt on the Saturday, I think Owens will probably win the belt on the Sunday. I think if they're gonna give Sammy a big moment at Mania on his own as a singles title, I think they'll want to do that for Owens as well. So I think we'll find out on if Sammy loses on Saturday, then I think it'll either be Orton or Logan Paul winning it. I think they'll either both win or they'll both lose. That's just my opinion. We've already spoke about this. Io Sky versus Bayley. I think Bayley. I know you think Io.
Yeah, I can see her retaining just because certain things have been going on. I think everyone at the moment feels like Bayley wins it. They love, if you've watched wrestling long enough, they love throwing these curveballs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can just see Io retaining. I would love Bayley to win, and I think she could go off really well. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We've got 2 more, and we're done with the matches. Seth versus Drew.
Drew,
yeah. I'd be very surprised if Drew doesn't win that match. Apparently, they're bringing back his old entrance music.
Yes, they are. Yeah, his original entrance music, and also as well, it's worth noting that I think it's June or July, they've got Clash at the Castle in Glasgow, and Drew is front and center on the promotion poster.
Yeah. He's definitely winning that belt at Mania. And look, I think he deserves it, to be honest.
Yeah. He's once again he's gotten better every time. Every time he's gone away, he's come back. He's got better and better. His character, his matches, he's
underrated on the mic as well, I think.
Yeah, he's so good. I love the bit where he was sat on the announce table. He goes, "Don't film up my kilt, you pervert."
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no, he is. He's brilliant. He's very, very good at every aspect of wrestling, and I think he deserves his moment in front of fans. I think he deserves his Mania moment, winning a major title in front of fans, and I think he also deserves to headline a show in Glasgow. He's obviously he's from Ayr, isn't he? But it's near enough. It's near enough. Come on, and then obviously finally we've got Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Does the story get finished?
Yeah, we all want the story to finish, don't we? We all want the story to finish.
Are we going to get that story being finished, or are we just going to have millions and millions of Cody crybabies crying? Me being one of them.
Mate, I'll tell you what, if he loses, people will lose their shit. Like people would just like that would be it, I think. But
his mum's getting involved, isn't she? Like how much stick the Rock's given Mama Rhodes. We've also had gonna smack the shit out of the Rock.
Yeah. Also, as well, Cody mentioned that his wife's going to be there as well.
Yeah.
He said you're going to see her at Mania. Dustin has been putting out promos, cussing the Rock as well. So all the Rhodes family can come down. We also know MJF recently posted something as well.
Yeah, but he's just a teasing little fucker, isn't
he? Yeah.
It could be like that. Could be everything and nothing. Like this is what I'm saying. One of my friends, he does sometimes watch the podcast. So if you are watching this one, hello, Craig. But he said that he's more of a WWE fan like us, but he does enjoy AEW and he does watch every single show of it. But he said that all the rumours that he's heard is that MJF re-signed with AEW months and months ago.
Yeah.
Which could be true, but also no one knows. Nobody knows. No one knows.
They could have. No one knows. They could have done a deal. You've got to think. Wrestlers yesterday, WWE wrestlers appeared at GCW.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler and Dempsey as well. Charlie Dempsey was there. So, who's to say that MJF doesn't come? He signed with AEW, but they might have gone, well, we'll give you X amount. We'll have him do a run-in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, what AEW have done very cleverly, if he has re-signed, is we know that his contract ended on the 1st of January this year. He hasn't been seen since New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
He hasn't been seen on TV for AEW since the 31st of December. That's very, very clever, because now we're heading into WrestleMania going, well, hang on a minute. We know that his last contract ended on the 1st of January. He's not been seen since the day before that. Yeah. Like, is he going to come out at Mania? Because we know how close he is with Cody. Is he going to come out and help Cody?
It's going to be.
This is what I'm saying. There's so many exciting things that could happen when we just.
I'll tell you what would be brilliant in the tag team match is if Kevin Hart came in and cost The Rock the match, because we know they work together like all the time. They're always in films together, and they're always taking the piss out of each other. And he's always having to go at him because Kevin Hart is small and everything else. Yeah. It would be so funny and brilliant if he come out and sort of hit The Rock.
Yeah,
because he is very Hollywood, and I think he's got connections, and it would. You know what I mean? It would only be like a phone call.
Nothing would surprise me. Anything could happen.
Like I said, we'll have to leave it there. But it's this is what I mean. We're so exciting because we don't know. MJF coming out, the Young Bucks even. Could anyone come down that ramp?
I mean, look, we could be very well sat there Sunday, and we hear the music hit, and we see all this all over the screen.
Yeah.
Eh? There's a very real possibility that anything can happen. You know, and this is what's so exciting about wrestling as a whole at the minute, not just WrestleMania.
Imagine if The Rock. Imagine if Austin comes out.
But I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. This is what I'm saying. I think it's going to be insane. It's going to be incredible. Are we setting ourselves up for disappointment? Probably.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be
some things you kind of think of. You think, does Ava come out and rock bottom someone?
Yeah.
You know, does she like someone's beating up like The Rock, and then like his wife, Cody's wife, comes out, and Ava comes out and rock bottoms her.
Yeah, brilliant.
I mean, that would put Ava so over. I wouldn't even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't actually know why Ava doesn't wrestle. Why should the GM?
If you watched her when she was wrestling, it's really bad, but she wasn't there. You know what I mean? If you watched her on NXT, she had a few matches. They were a bit sloppy. She was very stiff. I'm just wondering whether they've pushed her a bit too much. And she's training, but they said, we want you on TV still, so we'll give you a GM job, but we still want you sort of training wrestling-wise.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. Yeah, we just have to watch it. Just before we go, did you catch WWE Speed this week?
The only thing that I've seen is Ricochet versus Dragon Lee.
Yeah, I saw both of them. I just want to say I think the concept is actually really good. Yeah. I also thought that it was going to be some of the lower card people that we hadn't seen. But then when they announced, obviously, Dragon Lee and Ricochet and then Bronson Reed and Cedric, I was a bit like, oh, okay, so maybe because they're getting the winners of that match will go into to win a title.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say if you'd seen it and what you thought of it. I thought it was really good. I like the concept. 3-minute matches, done. Yeah, love it. I think they should do more of that sort of gimmick stuff. Because years ago, do you remember they had the Master Lock?
Yeah.
Which Bobby Lashley broke. And then also as well, also loved the fact that they did Big E. Now, when he was called Big E Langston, he used to do the 5-count challenge where he could pin you for a 5-count instead of the 3. I think they should do more of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just wanted to say if you saw it and what you thought of it and stuff. I like the concept.
I like the concept of it. It'd be interesting to see how far that they take it. It's something different. It's a new way of engaging. It's going to be streamed exclusively on social media, which means everyone can watch it. I think it's great, and I think it'll only bring more eyes to it because you'll get people going, well, hang on a minute, like this match is only 3 minutes. If I don't like it, I've only lost 3 minutes. I've not lost hours. So I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it'll give a lot of
more talent, more definitely. Yeah. But anyway, look, we're gonna go off. We're gonna enjoy WrestleMania this week.
Yes,
it's gonna be mega. I can't wait until our next podcast next week because our minds will probably be blown. It's gonna be. Awesome.
I don't know how we're gonna manage to squeeze in.
We'll have to. I might have to do 2.
Yeah, we will have to do 2. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. To cram it all in. But look, we're going to leave it there. Thank you all for joining us today on the podcast. I've been Kev.
I've been Dan. See you next time, guys.
We'll see you next time, guys. Take it easy.